Years later, Shamu shows up at Irwin Keel. And Irwin Keel is a pretty interesting place. Irwin Keel is like 6 or 7 acres. And it's like if you go in the back, there's trailers, there's little huts, there's rabbits, there's goats, it's actually a pretty good place for kids to grow up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the backyard. There's a lot of things to do. It's really out in the country. And then Shamu comes, and they have 8 more children. 8 more children. And when Shamu showed up from Jordan, Robin did not like her, which we understand, and started to treat her like a slave. And Robin left and moved to Minnesota. So she's in Minnesota. Allie has all 4 daughters, and then over the years gets 8 more kids. And I mean, for those of you who have had children, it's hard enough raising 1 or 2 kids, but having 12 can affect someone's brain, I think. 12 kids. He raises them. One of them, Nada, has mental issues. Nassim has mental issues. Shamu has mental issues. So he's raising this family all together at Irwin Keel, and there's 2 other properties too you're going to learn about. One is White Oak, and one is Old Houston Road, which are in the same area of town, but over the years he and his family have 2 other places, and they're like trailers, but they're properties with some, this is all very rural, out in the woods. So over the years, the family members, as they got older, some of them would stay at Irwin Keel, some would stay at Old Houston, some would stay at White Oak. They would move around. Sometimes a nephew would come in. Achman Garcia, for instance, he would live at different places. They would let friends live at different places who were having hardships and needed a place to live. But Irwin Keel, yes, it was run by Ali Irsan, and he ran it pretty strict. He ran it pretty strict. He loved his children. He really loved his children. He raised them, and he braided the girls' hairs, and he cooked for them. He was really like the father and the mother, because Shamu was not a good mother. Shamu did not help raise the children. Nadia, the oldest daughter, the kids consider Nadia the mother. The oldest daughter, Nadia, took care of the kids, not Shamu. And yes, Ali loved them. Yes, he homeschooled them. He let them go to public school some. Some of the kids went to public school, some didn't. But he homeschooled them. He taught them science. He taught them math. He wanted them, it was kind of the thing that confuses me a little bit about this case is, it's kind of a mixing of the cultures. It's a Jordanian culture, which is Middle Eastern, and the U.S. culture. And it's kind of a mixture which, maybe something social scientists should look at someday. But Irwin Keel's kind of a different place. It's not like probably where any of you grew up or where I grew up. But yeah, he was like a border collie or a Sheltie herding his kids. He was in charge of his children. Then in about 2008 or 9, he had some heart issues. Went to the heart doctor, had to have a procedure, sat down with his daughters, and his son was listening, and he talked to them about, I'm not going to be here forever, and you two are my daughters, I think you should go to college if you want to go. You can go to college. And the daughters, when he was talking about how long he's going to live, they started to cry. Both Nadia and Nazreen were crying. And he said, but someday I'm not going to be here for you. So I want you to go to school. I want you to get an education. I want you to become a scientist or a doctor. And the girls said, we want to become doctors so we can take care of you someday. At this point, there's love. There's a lot of love there. I mean, So they start college, they go to Lone Star. Nadia and Nesreen off to college, and they meet Cody and Corey Beavers. And right away, Nesreen has a crush on Corey Beavers. And Corey Beavers, for whatever reason, did not want to have a relationship with her, but introduced her to the brother Cody. And then Nesreen and Cody started dating, and as Mr. Stevenson said, fell in love. Nadia and Corey, I don't know what their relationship was over the years. I really don't, because we don't really get to talk to their witnesses. They don't normally talk to us. But I'd like to see develop somehow in this trial, what was Nadia's relationship to Corey Beavers? When they were at Lone Star, and then at MD Anderson. Because when they went to MD Anderson, it was Corey and the two sisters. Cody did not go to MD Anderson. And I'm hoping that during this trial we learn what the relationship was between Corey and Nadia. I'm hoping we can figure that out. Because you heard from Mr. Stevenson about the nude photos. You know. And down the road at MD Anderson, we know that Galleria started dating Corey. She started dating Corey several months before she died. So there's something there. I'm hoping we can figure that out as we progress through this trial, what that relationship was, why she sent the pictures, things of that nature. Then, in June of 2011, June, Nesreen runs away. She's going to tell you she was kidnapped. She's going to tell you she was handcuffed and beaten by her mother, Shamu. She's going to tell you all sorts of things, and I don't believe them. And it's up to you to decide if you believe her. Was she really kidnapped, beaten, handcuffed? There's a lot of hatred after she left to go to college between her and her father. She hated that man. She flat out hated him. And I wouldn't put it past her. Anything she says, you need to listen to and decide if you think it's true or not. She hated him, and he loved her, and you're going to hear some conversations with him where you're going to see that he hates her now. He hates her. And it's kind of like when people get divorced. You know, one moment they love each other one day, the next day when they break up, I hate his guts. I want him dead. I want her dead. It's that kind of relationship. They hate each other now. And you ask yourselves, do they really hate each other? Does she really hate him? Does he really hate his daughter? Or does he deep down love his daughter? It's a love-hate thing. And yeah, he went out looking for her. He wanted to find his daughter. He wanted to talk to his daughter. I mean, when he got back from Jordan, he saw in the bedroom an identification with Cody Beavers. So he went to look for his daughter like any father would do. He looked up Cody Beavers online. He talked to his other children about Cody Beavers and heard that Cody Beavers had been to his house in the bedroom with Nesreen when he was gone and other times. He did not want his daughter with Cody Beavers after he learned about Cody Beavers, and he wanted to find her, and he wanted to talk to her, and he wanted to bring her home. But she would have no communications or anything with him. And yes, he is an obsessive person. That's his personality. And he was going to track her down and try to talk to her. He looked and he looked for her. The relationship between Corey and Galleria, which I mentioned earlier and Mr. Stevenson mentioned, yeah, there were phone calls between Mr. Irsan and Galleria. There were phone calls. And yes, somehow Galleria saw that Nadia had sent nude pictures and semi-nude pictures to her boyfriend, Corey. And I don't know what was going on there, and hopefully we find out. But yeah, they had phone conversations, and in the phone conversations, basically they were telling him that his daughter Nadia was a whore. Okay? For sending out those kind of pictures. And yeah, that's going to upset a father. That's going to upset a father. And Corey Beavers then sent him a picture. Sent him one of the pictures. Not one of the nude ones, but one of the ones with bra and underwear on. Sent it to him. And he asked Corey Beavers, because it was a big thing to him, has my daughter had sex with your brother? And Corey said, let's just say they went downtown together. I mean, yeah, there was a little bit of poking the bear. And yeah, yes, that would upset any father hearing that. And having pictures of your daughter sent to you. These are two separate cases. Separate cases. They are not, the state's trying to say this is an honor thing. I mean, they're trying to say it's an honor killing. I mean, he married a Christian woman. Shamu cheated on him. She was never killed. Christian woman cheated on him. She was never killed. Daughter sends out nude photos of herself. She wasn't killed. You're either an honor person or you're not an honor person. This is not a case about honor. That's how the state's trying to link this case. They're trying to link it as an honor case. And they're going to bring you pieces and pieces of evidence. You're going to get piece here, piece here, piece here. And then they're going to try to link up the pieces to get you to beyond a reasonable doubt, based on testimony of two witnesses. Two witnesses. One of them's name is Ahmed Garcia, and another one is Shamu. And I ask you to listen to their testimony very carefully, listen to what they have to say, and weigh it out and see if you think they are telling the truth or if they are lying. Listen to what they have to say. Because they are two highly compensated witnesses. Both of them. Highly compensated. And you will hear that when they testify. Shamu is in jail, charged with murder. Murder in the Galleria case. Looking at up to life in prison. Says on phone calls, my lawyer told me they're offering me life. Life in prison she's looking at. But when she's done testifying against Ali Irsan, she's got to walk out of the jail. She'll walk out of the jail. And her deal is she will not have to testify her son Nassim, who did the shooting, in her words. Doesn't have to testify against him. And she needs to plead for a time served in Montgomery County for allegedly holding Nazreen. I mean, so she walks out of jail and she gets to see her kids again. Because she's got young kids. She's got 4 kids who are, 17 to 21, but she's got 4 babies. And if you think that's not a motivation for someone to say whatever the hell law enforcement want them to say, to walk out of jail, 4 babies. What parent would not say anything to be able to be with their 4 babies that are growing up? She's going to get out of jail and hopefully be with her children. And I don't blame her. And we're not going to be hard on her. I understand her. She's doing, what's best for her. But her testimony, you need to really look at it carefully and compare it to Ahmed Garcia's testimony. Ahmed Garcia is going to testify, and the deal he's getting is this. He's got 2 babies also, live in Indiana. And he was arrested and convicted of some crimes, and so he was going to be deported out of the United States, immigration, where he would never be able to come back because he had a criminal record. And the deal Ahmed Garcia gets is he too got to walk out of jail from immigration. Got to walk out of jail and can see his children again. Whereas if he had been sent to Jordan or to Spain, wherever, he would probably never see his children again. And any of you who are parents know you would do anything. Anything. It's a terrible, terrible thought to think you will never see your young children again. So I don't blame Ahmed Garcia too for cooperating. Both Ahmed and Shamu numerous times said they're trying to get me to say stuff. They're trying to get me to lie. They're trying to get me to lie. My lawyers, whatever, they want me to talk. Law enforcement wants me to talk, the police. But I'm not going to lie. And then years and years of being locked up in a jail cell, that's pretty persuasive and intimidating to a person to be able to get out of jail. So I ask you to please look very carefully at all of their testimony and decide if you think they're telling the truth or that they're lying. I really want you at the end to ask yourselves, do you know what happened at either crime scene in making your determination what to do in this case? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who will be the first witness for the state?
We're on state to call Angel Lozano.
Thank you. Mr. Lozano, come on up, please.
Judge, this witness has nothing sworn in.
Thank you. And we're going to